Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Geek Bytes podcast. I'm Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo Acosta.
And every single podcast, we bring you the round of the week's best geek and tech news. We discuss that news and, of course, everything else that we're interested in that week. And this week we're talking about...
the PS3 dying. The jacket that works as a touchscreen. Guardians of the Galaxy rumors. Captain America may retire. Movie trailer Showdown. And much, much more.
And, of course, we begin our show, though, with geek news. And in geek news, we're going to begin our show, though, with...
the almighty dying of the PS3.
Yep.
Along with the 360, PS3 is going down. Sony had a couple bit of announcements this week. They are ending production of the PS3. Sony's bringing its PS4 catalog to the PlayStation Now streaming game service in a beta program. Currently, subscribers to the service will get access to the beta first. Sony did not reveal which games will be available. The service costs about $100 a year or about $20 a month.
Yeah, so the end of the PS3 line is not like super surprising. Most of those last generation consoles have been phased out. They want you to play their new stuff, of course. But I'm slightly more excited about PS4 games actually coming to PlayStation Now, which is their streaming service, because that means that the actual new games you'll be able to stream straight to your console instead of having to purchase them. I'm not sure how well they're going to stream, but I'm looking forward to catching some of them.
Yeah, I know there's streaming services kind of been always been so. You know, even if you have like television, I don't know if you ever got like that choppy reception where it looks all digitally pixelated and stuff like that. I really want that experience on my gaming. You know, like especially depending if it's a live gaming, there's just the delay.
Yeah, there's usually a lag, but for a lot of game streaming services, I know, was it a Game Live or something? What was the one I tried out on the PC console or on the PC rather, and it just there's so much severe lag that even with a good internet connection. It was hard to play the games unless they were like super low res.
Oh yeah, especially
quick shout out to Marcos Bravos who says yo yo and yo yo back.
Yo yo Han.
I was gonna say yo yo mama.
Mama. Oh, then we're gonna start doing the dozens in a bit. But anyway, yeah. I'm glad kind of seeing it, but the only thing that I don't like, not all the games are all available. Like even with the Xbox One. Not all the 360 titles are available, which I still want some because the one game that just came out is Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but they still have I still have my 360, so I still have Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, but I want those to transfer to the Xbox One system. That way I could kind of be done with my 360.
Well, at some point I'm sure they're going to get most of those games, but they don't. You have to do license agreements with the content creators to stream it, and then you have to do, a bunch of money stuff comes up, and then adapting it to the new hardware, because essentially you're using an emulator on your home servers in the corporation, and then sending that information in a way that your current console can then basically play. So there's some translation issues between those two console cycles, and so it is extra work. And not every game is going to decide, oh, this is worth it for us.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the challenge.
Well, I don't know. Did you ever have a PS3?
Yes. Oh no, I had a PS2. I skipped PS3 because I went to the Xbox 360, and then I went with the PS4.
I had a 1. I had the 2.
Yeah.
Skipped 3.
Yeah.
Haven't touched.
Not that it was a bad console. It was just,
no.
It was just.
And there's still games I keep talking about it. I want Kingdom Hearts. I'm very tempted to pick up a PS4 just for the Kingdom Hearts sake, and of course other games. But we'll see, because right now, have they even unleashed even more titles for like the VR for PlayStation?
Yeah, they have a good they have a good selection of 20, 25 experiences and a couple games, but the mostly experiences. But so it's a console. It's a console that I think is leading the pack as far as sales goes.
Just a little bit more than the Switch so far.
Yeah, so it makes sense they want to retire the PS3 as soon as possible to kind of force people to go into PS4 territory.
Yeah, it looks weird though. Like I don't know if you ever been to a store, especially the video game section. It's just like almost like the music section. It's almost non-existent. I still get that dilemma. Like, yes, I could just buy the downloaded game.
I prefer the digital download version. It's
instead of the hard disk.
Home, yeah, because it's easier to transfer through on your console. You don't have to get up and take out a disc, put in a disc. Yeah, that's literally the mentality. That's the same reason that people have stopped buying DVDs
That's true.
and Blu-rays. Instead, they rather stream it or just purchase the digital version and just play it from their phone or on their regular television
I
because
think it's almost like
of those seconds of getting up.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Or like the nostalgia. Plus, honestly, I'm thinking a person's shelf now. Before we used to have, like some people still do, a shelves full of multimedia. All your DVDs, your games, and whatnot. Like it's pretty much all down to your little hard drive now.
Yep. Yep. And that's the way, and that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay, now speaking of little hard drives, we have our next story, which is going to be about Levi's commuter jacket called Project Jacquard. It is the first interactive garment from Google. It's going to be $350. It's going to have a detachable Bluetooth device and 15 threads of conductive fabric on the left sleeve. There's going to be an app that allows you to set 3 gestures, swipe in, swipe out, and a double tap to do things like get map updates or change songs on Spotify with an estimated battery life of 2 days. So basically, this is a jacket with an interactive sleeve that you can slide around and tap on, and it'll do things with your phone. But it's going to have a limited battery charge of about 2 days. So you have 2 days with this stuff before you have to charge your jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it makes total sense. It kind
Like,
of goes into the market of like wearables, like where people have their wristwatches, and so that when they play music, they don't have to take out their phone every time. They can just tap on it or look at the screen and do things with that. And in this case, this is a very primitive version of something that could be very cool later on in life, where you have interactive connections with your clothing. So potentially for virtual reality, when you're in virtual reality, instead of having a bunch of like sensors you stick in your body, the clothes you're just normally wearing can be the thing you wear in VR to sense your motion controls.
True, but it's not exactly the Marty McFly Back to the Future jacket where it'll like self-adjust, cool you down, dry you off when you're wet. Like cover up that body.
It's kind of that first step towards that type of thing you're looking for.
Yeah.
Then once once the trend connects where embedding electronics into your clothing, whether they're sensors or communication devices, is acceptable, then you can start doing other cool things like adding blow dryers.
My thing is of course, security issue traveling with a jacket like that. Of course, is going to give you a big deal about it. The only thing that I was felt like that would make more sense, especially with technology wise, is solar paneling. Like a solar panel jacket, even in the backside. I've seen it on backpacks. I've seen it if you're going to be out, might as well charge your phone while you're at it.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
But as for
that doesn't make sense in the digital age where everything has a battery.
Yeah, but also as long as it's not made by Samsung and go poof,
Yes, the exploding headphones, phones,
anything with a battery,
consoles, cars at some point. Yeah.
So I don't know anything that you would like to see fashion wise, but mixed with technology. Because the closest thing that I've seen is pretty much those little beanies with the earbuds in it.
Oh, I see. Yeah. No, I don't wear hats, so that's not a thing for me. I'd say just regular clothing. Yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, nothing that I really need. I think a jacket is pretty. It's one of those clothing options. It's optional, so having that electronic device in is also optional.
I think I'm more just an updated, like, just way better version of like the Google Glass, wearable glasses kind of thing.
Where they're actually at. Yeah, I see that as an augmented reality system, but it's something that's pretty far off as far as like being useful and accurate and
or the
what they make it seem like in the commercials.
The self-lacing pumping shoes, pretty much it's all Back to the Future stuff.
I feel like Velcro is an easier solution to self-lacing shoes.
So, yeah, you're not knocking it.
Okay, next story.
All right. Netflix Vice President of Product Todd Yelling said Thursday that Netflix will phase out its star rating system in favor of a thumbs up or thumbs down system starting sometime in April. The company rolled out the new system to a few 100,000 users as they tested and found 200% more ratings were logged. Netflix will also start enjoying a percentage below titles of how likely it is you'll enjoy it based on how others with similar viewing habits rate it. So
they're going from stars to just you like it or you don't, and that's kind of what most people think. Like, yes, the stars give you a little more accurate. Like, I like it a lot. I don't like it as much. But for most people, just I enjoyed it or I didn't. They're very binary.
when you watch them? Do you
Yes, every single time.
Seriously?
Yeah. It's even the things that I've seen in the past that I see on Netflix. I'm like, oh, I've seen that before. I liked it or I didn't, and I'll give them actual ratings. So it leads me to more accurate recommendations.
Related titles to what something that you actually like. Okay, that makes sense because I think I've only done once or twice for like Kevin Smith movies. So I'm like, all right, because of course I'm a Kevin Smith fan. But then other things like I'll just watch it and I'm like, I don't care. I like it. I just don't care for ratings.
That's a choice. I mean, it's the algorithm, and they're using your data that you're putting in for other things as well, like to make they'll either sell the data to other companies to say, oh, he likes this product, so maybe he'll like the product you wish to sell them through an ad service, and all that metadata is just being transferred through, and I don't really have an issue with it because the suggestions that I get based upon that data is useful to me at least. So if not.
With me, I don't know if you ever noticed, depending, I guess, obviously, I'm sharing my account with my wife, so it's under the same name.
Yeah.
So we'll have, like, depending on what she's watching, what I'm watching, it'll have everything from, like, it's just like, oh, recommended. Since you watch this, you might like this. Mm-hmm. So especially we have a nice variety where it's like, oh, since you watch all these Disney titles, here's these other Disney titles. And, of course, then when I watch something, like, here's all the hardcore smut that you watch, and here's some more hardcore-related smut that you might like. And I'm like, you know me so well, Netflix.
Yeah, and that's what the big data is for, is to give you good analytical, recommendations and things like that.
TiVo did the same thing, but TiVo would actually like record something for you
and say you might like this show.
You might like this show, exactly. Well, we'll see how well it knows me.
I think this change would be good for next because it makes it easier for people, and the easier something is like this, the more likely they are to do and as their test proved.
Yeah, because the only bad part is like that one time you put that middle 3-star because a show's like meh.
Yes, no, this actually happens a lot more with Amazon because we do another podcast, or I do another podcast called the Lit RPG Podcast, where I basically review books, and that's part of the thing is like giving a rating. I do like a scale of 1 to 10, but it's always like very fluid, like between 5 and 10. Like, okay, exactly how much do I like it, and what does that mean? But those numbers give people like a good estimation of like, oh, how much does this person that I'm trusting like this thing, and they kind of see it and say, oh, do I want to buy this thing or not? And if it's just I like it or I don't, I think there's less nuance to your review. So there you go.
Thanks for that thumbs up, everybody. Always greatly appreciated. But like at any time, feel free. Questions, anything when you want to know something, about something. You want to get it,
For the people who are listening on just the regular podcast, we're also streaming this live on Facebook Live, and we have a few people watching us. And if you think about it like that, it's a little creepy, but they're nice people, and so when they throw up questions, we'll read them out to you and answer them.
Let me know if any of you guys have actually in here, local California, Ontario. I think is it today? This weekend was the what's it, like Phoenix Fire or whatever con in Ontario?
No idea what you're talking about, but it might be.
No, okay. Well, I wish I was there.
That's a thing.
After this or whenever, but
Okay. We'll next story, entertainment stuff now. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 rumors. Actually, James Gunn has announced that Michael Rosenberg has joined the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 cast in a decent role in the movie, whatever that means. Apparently, he's gonna be working with Sylvester Stallone, who is also in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
And we still don't know who he's playing.
We don't know who they're playing. This was first broke a couple weeks ago when Sylvester Stallone's name appeared on the movie poster credits. Tiny. Yes, and apparently Lex Luthor from Smallville is also going to be in that movie, although it's anyone's guess as to what they're actually going to be doing. But it is interesting how many big name movie stars now want to be in superhero movies.
Hopefully they're hardcore gay lovers. That way they get the same kind of reaction out of that Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the other trend
right
now.
Disney movie,
how dare they be a semi-gay character? I'm like, I haven't seen it yet. So I can't really say there is or isn't, but I'll give you my little review on that when I see the because
you're checking that out today.
That's the plan, but we'll see how things going. So, but yeah, I don't know. First of all, yes, when they announced Sylvester Stallone, when you saw the little name on it, you're like, okay, so what's his deal? Everybody's trying to think of a character he could play, but now you're adding Mr. Lex Luthor.
He could really just be like some weird side character or some villain.
Sylvester Stallone as Adam Warlock.
That That could work. I'm not going to say it's not.
And I don't know.
But that's what you're hoping for.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So there you go, folks. That's our prediction according to the Geek Bytes podcast. That Sylvester Stallone will be playing Adam Warlock. We'll let you know whether that pans out or not when we watch that movie later.
And Lex Luthor, since he pretty much has the look, he just needs to be covered in silver. He could be the Silver Surfer. But for licensing reasons, not going to happen.
No, not with this particular Marvel franchise. Now, and some other Guardians of the Galaxy rumors. The director, James Gunn, has already confirmed that basically they're already working on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, even though Volume 2 is not out. This is going to take place after Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and after the Infinity Wars. That's when Volume 3 is going to come out. So I'm kind of curious to see what kind of storyline they're going to have, because most of this has been leading up to the Infinity Wars. So post-Infinity Wars, Guardians, I'm kind of curious what story they're going to have.
It's all aftermath stuff, man.
Yep.
With anything... What I would like to see is Nova Corps.
Like a Nova Corps centralized story?
Mm-hmm. Especially that introducing Nova, the character, and the whole Nova Corps and all that stuff. Because they have done it in the animated series and, of course, in the comics. Yeah. But they haven't done it in live action, so...
Nope. That's absolutely true. So, yeah, there are all kinds of things you could do with the Nova Corps. Heist film or...
just introduction
Hunter film
to Nova.
All kinds of possible storylines with the Nova Corps. So
yeah,
very good.
That's what I like to see.
Okay, let's see. Ooh, I like this one a lot. Actually, this next story, you can read this one, then, man.
So good.
Yeah.
Spider-Man villain Venom is getting his own standalone movie. Sony has announced that the drooling alien symbiote, a longtime thorn in Spider-Man's side, will be coming to theaters in October 5th next year. It is not yet clear who will be portraying the gooey-bodied anti-hero, but Scott Rosenberg, who worked on Jumanji, and Jeff Pinkner, who handled Stephen King's The Dark Tower adaptation, will be writing the script. So I'm happy Venom is happening. Just hopefully they don't go the route of getting another little skinny wussy dude like
Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Was it? I know his real name, but he's
Foreman. It was the guy from the 70 show. Yeah. Quick shout out. Hans Lemmy in the chat room says, Hans. Damn. So Chris Pratt's going to be hella busy, and the answer is yes. He's doing Guardians of the Galaxy, man. And also the Jurassic World movies. And of course anything else he kind of wants to do. So yeah, he's definitely going to be busy. He's also doing Infinity Wars, which I think they've already filmed his roles for. They're just editing stuff together. So yeah,
that guy's an awesome guy in real life.
He got in shape and he got super popular, which that's kind of the way that goes in Hollywood.
Remember the rumor that we're supposedly going to have him, if they were ever going to do a reboot or whatever, he was supposed to be Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't think that's going to pan out. I mean, it could hypothetically, but the Steven Spielberg's already said if we're going to do another Indiana Jones movie and Harrison Ford is alive, he's still going to be Indiana Jones.
That or he's not landing planes in the wrong landing strips.
It's probably more likely that he's, by the time they get around to actually making a new film, he's going to pass or something.
Totally true.
Money talks. Yeah, laugh out loud. That's true.
The only thing is, like, who would you like throw out a celebrity? Who would you think as a Venom?
I would want to see like a wrestler.
Thank you.
Like a huge, just like hulky wrestler, just for the physicality of the character, because that's always what Venom was to me, is the anti-Spider-Man, in that he had powers, but he had better powers because the base that the symbiote worked with was stronger, more powerful, and just on a visual image scale, he looked different and more powerful. And just the last time they did in that movie, it was just like, it was the same guy basically, just a different colored costume and sharp teeth. So I don't know.
Okay, here's my pick. I'm not a big fan of him, but he's a good guy. He has the body, he has the look, the persona. I like to see him unleash and go wild and just be like crazy.
Sure.
John Cena.
Yeah, I could work with that.
John Cena as Venom.
He's not. Yeah, he could do some comedic stuff. He's relatively entertaining in that way. I don't know how he is as far as like actual acting goes.
He's been okay. Depending, I guess, on the role. He's had some serious looks. Like even in a joke movie, he played like a serious character. Just like, he was like a drug dealer that was all tatted up and whatnot. But
all the characters I've seen him play are the same character. They're basically just him.
Yeah.
I've never seen him do anything outside of outside of that, where that actual role was just written as John Cena, acting a little goofy and a little bit funny.
Yeah.
I've never seen him act dramatically or emotionally in any kind of movie role. So I don't know how good he's gonna do as, because this is the main character. This isn't some side villain.
No.
This is the guy. So I don't know what kind of range he has. I'd rather see a less physical actor who does a good job portraying the character than somebody who's just super big and buff and is a horrible actor. You know what I mean? So, but if you can find somebody who does both of those, I that would be the best of both worlds. But you know, that's casting issues.
Yeah. Let's see, Hans. Totally off the superhero topic. I think The Rock should have been the main character
The Rock can do it
in the upcoming Predator movie.
Well, no, because he has the bulk for it, and he's not a horrible actor.
No.
He's not like an amazing actor either, but I think he could do. I think he could do it.
A Samoan symbiote?
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
I mean, especially if this is kind of going to be an anti-hero.
Yeah.
He's gonna do the.
Well, he's gonna be Black Adam in the DC universe, so nothing against
that.
him.
I don't think casting cares.
No, casting's not an issue. But yeah, because you need somebody his size and to be able to pull up the moves.
But as far as the Predator goes,
The Rock has it.
The Rock would work it. I mean, as long as he kind of took the Arnold method and just didn't talk as much. But I think the last Predator movie, which was Predators, was good. I like that guy who's the main character. He was a little thinner and skinnier, but he did a good job.
Adrian Brody?
Yeah, he was a good main guy, and everybody in the film, because they were on a different planet, it felt a lot more fantastical,
it was kind of
fantasy than just like dropped him in the middle of suburbia.
It was just kind of weird, just taking the pianist as a hunter / killer kind of guy. So.
Well, he worked out for it. I mean, he kind of bulked up for that thing.
Like 8 push-up?
No, he was all ripped. I mean, you could see those muscly cords all over his body. He was like a thin.
I think he was just struggling trying to lift up those big guns with his guns. So
come to the gun show.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. No, but yeah, like you said, big wrestler dude for Venom. Just somebody who obviously has to have the acting chops to back it up. Because the only person that's semi-big, but I think, I don't know, his size would be a little weird. Mr. One of the strippers, the werewolf guy from what's his name?
No, yeah, he's also gonna play Deathstroke in the Batman movie.
What's his damn name?
Werewolf guy. Yeah, no, I know you're talking about Michael Bibione.
Something.
No, I know who you're talking. Yeah,
that guy.
Manglione or something.
Yeah, him.
That guy. Yeah, but yeah, great casting opportunities. I'm curious to see who wants to be the villain though, because this is. And especially if they're gonna make it a rated R film where Venom's actually killing people.
Well, we'll see.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, but yeah, casting for according to Hans, casting for the upcoming Predator movie doesn't seem worth watching. I don't know, man. I saw Alien versus Predator, the first one, and they didn't really have a cast no big name to put in it. It was just a movie between those two main characters were the leads, and it was okay. It wasn't the greatest movie, but it was okay. Right.
It was fun. But okay, so moving off Predator, moving off of Venom, we're going to go into some potential news for Captain America. Apparently, Chris Evans has hinted that he may be ending his time as Captain America after Infinity Wars, because that's the end of his contract. So he has 2 Infinity War movies, and he's out of contract, so he can technically not go back to that franchise if he doesn't want to, if he doesn't like getting tons of money.
Idiot.
Well, no, it's a choice. I mean, it's a valid choice. He may be like, okay, he's taking the money and running before this thing gets too big and weird, or he may just want to do other roles, because this is a really big commitment. Because they sign him up for like 6 to 9 movies at a time, and so he's absolutely committed to these roles for a very long time, which means he can't do other things. And for an actor who's already rich, may not be worth it.
He's a good guy, but we talked about this before. Their roles eventually will come to an end.
Yeah.
Of course, like even Mr. Wolverine, he bowed down gracefully after doing Logan.
Which was a great way to go out, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, Captain America, the whole concept of his being like forever young kind of deal. And
he's never forever young, but he's just aged, yeah. Exactly. I know what you mean, but yeah.
And the same thing where, you're eventually going to see Mr. Iron Man step down, Cap's going to step down.
Well, yeah, but they've already set up the storyline for Iron Man to step down.
Yeah.
With the was it the Iron Heart girl?
Yeah.
The girl who becomes Iron Man, basically. They've already said the story where Tony Stark dies and becomes the new Jarvis and an AI computer system. So they have that set up. The current storyline for Captain America is that he gets brainwashed into being a Hydra agent.
Yeah.
So I think that would be kind of a cool way to go out. Like he's killed as a Hydra agent. That might be. I don't think they're ever going to do it, but I think it'd be a nice, interesting, more expanded role than just the all American good boy.
That's true. Well, he's played a bunch of other comic book characters in general, so it's not like he's done with comic book movies. Period. It's just a matter of what they want to use him for.
And Hans at the time says that he heard that Chris Evans wants to focus more on directing. I believe he directed one movie that I've seen on Netflix.
What movie?
Where he's playing like a saxophone player or a trombone player or whatever. And some jazz player in the middle of like Grand Central Station, and he meets a girl or something. But he's directed movies. And for a lot of actors, that's where they want to go because they kind of age out of being a popular actor. But if they can be a director, then they can do that for another 20, 30 years.
Yeah, goes a little longer. Hey, more power to him. It's not like he doesn't have the bankroll to do it. I'll miss him, but I won't miss him that
maybe he can be in
much.
The Matrix.
That's true.
Yeah, that's our next story, folks. The Matrix may be coming back.
Real quick. Did you ever watch this video of him in a comic book store? Have you ever heard these puzzle rooms?
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook where he's talking out of his Captain America figure to a bunch of people, and it's a puzzle room, but it's for like one of his charities that he does. Yeah. I'm like, that's very nice of him.
He's real good. He's really involved. But okay, let's go to the Matrix.
Matrix.
Hollywood has been tying their
Reinvigorate
dead film franchises with heinously bad reboots for years now, like some terrible cinema Necromancer, and it doesn't show signs of stopping. We're already on track to suffer through a Baywatch movie and a version of a Splash with Channing Tatum as a mermaid. Now things are about to get even worse. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Warner Brothers is developing a Matrix reboot too. The masterminds behind the original trilogy, Lana and Lily Wachowski. I thought they were guys.
They were guys. Now they're ladies.
Okay.
Nope. You didn't read that wrong, man.
Okay. Aren't involved in a new movie at all so far, and executives have tapped Zap Penn to write a treatment.
Yeah. So the original creators of the Matrix movies are not involved. Which means that Keanu Reeves already said that the only way he would go back to the Matrix is if
the
Wachowski sisters would be involved in it. He doesn't care if they're guys or girls.
No.
But he's like, I want the original creators because they made it great. And if it's not, then he's already turned down the role, basically. So the fact that they're moving forward with the franchise reboot potential, like a spinoff of it, might kind of mean that he's not going to be part of it. As most of the other characters aren't either, because most of them are getting a little older. You look at the pictures. Lawrence Fishburne is doing other things. Keanu Reeves is doing other films. Even Trinity, she's on the Marvel bandwagon as that lawyer lady. Yeah. So I forget the guy remember that Rocky reboot where he's training Creed. Mm-hmm. That the guy, the main character in that, he's up for this role. Or at least he's shown interest.
He's gonna be
as the lead, basically.
The Neo, the one,
or the new Neo, or whatever they're gonna call it. As the new Neo. Who knows? Maybe it'll be Morpheus' kid. We don't know.
Honestly, I don't think it really needs a reboot at all. If anything,
no, I think it's okay where it is. We don't need a new Matrix film at all.
Honestly, it could have spun out and became a television show. I would totally watch a Matrix television show.
They did a couple spin-offs. They did a series of animated short films. They put them together and they released it on DVD. I remember watching that. It's on Netflix currently. I remember also playing the Matrix game. MMO.
Which version? Are you talking the one with Jada Pinkett Smith?
No, there's a massively multiplayer online game that was set in the Matrix that was absolutely disgustingly ugly.
Oh yeah, they just put it out there for money wise.
Yeah, but it was just so bland looking. It was basically just set in a city. And all the buildings look the same, and you could upgrade your character with like chips that would give you new powers and new upgrades to guns and stuff. But it was just very it felt less like the Matrix and more just like running around with an ugly character in a city and like running from agents sometimes and going on these stupid missions. But I played it because I'm a MMO guy.
Yeah, the video game movie franchises usually that never really pulls off well, especially video games based from movies. But I did like the tie-in though, because if you ever played I think it was called Enter the Matrix, if I'm correct.
No, no, yeah, there were those standalone console games. You're right.
Yeah, but it was with Jada Pinkett Smith and some other Asian actor. But it tied in literally with the movies. They even filmed specific scenes in the game to tie in with the movie.
No, yeah, they were basically set like in between movies or like this is the alternate story that you never got to see in the movie. Come play it on Xbox 360, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it was actually really cool because especially there's very few times that they would do something with a franchise like that where they actually would interact with two different properties for the same thing.
That is true. Like I said, the Matrix was really good about the creators were really good about giving people alternative storylines and having such a huge story to tell that they were willing to put it out in different forms, whether they're short animated features by different creators or video games that told different portions of the story that you never got to see in the film, but they didn't really mess up the film if you missed or anything. They were really good about that.
Yeah, the only thing is the gameplay did suck, though, to be honest with you, but the cutscenes is what made
you just go watch it on YouTube. I mean, you're not missing anything as far as gameplay goes, but if you want to see that alternate bit of story, it's on YouTube. Okay, next entertainment story. This one I'm still kind of jazzed about as well. Edward James Olmos has confirmed that he's returning as Gaff in Blade Runner 2049. So yay! Edward James Olmos was one of the characters that I liked the most in it because at this point in his career, he's very new still, and he isn't the famous Edward James Olmos that we know and love yet. He looks so young, even in this picture that we're showing to the people who watch the video version of the podcast. Yeah. But he said it's not a big role. He's just doing basically a cameo that's an important scene, but it's a very small scene. But it's good that he's coming back. I'm happy to see him after, especially he hasn't done anything like super huge since Battlestar Galactica.
I'm surprised he just hasn't done any kind of nothing. I don't mean it in a bad way. Any Latin-based kind of like film, like American Me or any kind of stuff like that.
He's already done a lot of stuff. I mean, so he doesn't need to go back and do it. He's very much the artist.
I'm just glad
kind of actor where it's the role that matters and not as much the money.
Yeah, I don't know if he's in it, but hopefully he's not in that Lowrider movie.
The Lowrider movie? I don't think I've heard about that.
You're not missing out. You're not missing out at all.
So there you go.
So I'm glad that genre, like I wouldn't call it a genre, even though it's a lifestyle and whatnot. But
it's a lifestyle choice. Well,
that's the thing. You can only rock the cholo thing for so much in your life unless you get locked up or dead. But
he's. I'm not sure where you're going with this, to be honest.
Well, think about it. Like all the movies that especially he's been playing in, he's always played kind of like a semi-stereotypical
Edward James Olmos.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. Like like some kind of cholo related kind of this. If he wasn't like some kind of gangster in LA based kind of area.
I think so. I'm not going to disagree with you because a lot of those films are the ones that made him famous. But to me, it was more about telling the Hispanic story.
No,
it wasn't totally. Wasn't just about like stereotyping himself out for cash. I mean, these were all very important stories to me that talk about a community that's not often talked about.
Oh yeah, I loved him in Stand Up and Deliver when he played Jaime Escalante. I loved him in the Selena movie playing Selena's dad. I loved him in everything else he's done it, but it's just that specific genre is like
I don't know that it's a genre, but I'm trying to see what you're trying to say. But he does play very loud roles, I guess, if you want to say it that way. Maybe is that what you're trying to say?
I feel like he's always been typecast, if you will, typecast when it became like especially
a lot of times. But have you ever watched Battlestar Galactica?
You know what? No, I know he was in it.
Yeah, but he's definitely not typecast in that movie at all.
That's when I give him total credit to because he was actually. There was this one.
He's done other things. It's just not as well received by critics because those films meant something to people. They had an interesting story and they were very well received by critics because they told a story that isn't told by the mainstream movie industry. And so those are the roles that I think have been most influential, especially in a lot of Hispanic people's lives. And that, okay, that's our story. That relates to me, and I see myself in these films. So I think because he's most well known for those, people think of him in that sense. But that's definitely not all he's ever done. I mean, just thinking about Battlestar Galactica, he was on there for like several seasons, and it was a very interesting, strong sci-fi character, and it wasn't the Hispanic captain. It was just captain. You know what I mean? And so there are the other things that he's done. There we go. And Han said, except for a talent for the game, he plays a baseball scout for the Angels. So there you go. Another example of.
I haven't seen that movie.
Me either. But again, that's kind of the issue. The roles where he's not playing the Hispanic character, basically, we don't watch because we like him as the Hispanic character. Yeah.
Don't be this brown guy.
Be that brown guy. Yeah. So, okay. So enough of Jaime Escalante. Edwin Ramos. We're going to move on to the movie trailer showdown, folks. We bring you the best trailers. 4 trailers enter. Only 1 leaves, folks. And I forgot to load them up. But they're here. So Despicable Me, Transformers The Last Night, Coco teaser, and American Gods. Have you seen them all?
I don't think I've seen American Gods, but I did see the other ones, and I'm getting mixed feelings on the Transformers one. But the teaser made for me, and then a lot of people are like, they're talking about the Coco teaser as Disney's version of the Book of Life.
Possibly, it's a very similar art theme. But of those 3 then that you saw, Despicable Me, Transformers Last Night, and the Coco teaser, which one did you like the best?
I'm gonna go with Coco teaser.
Coco teaser, okay.
Coco teaser, because it made me want to see more of it. Because if you've seen the trailer itself, once again, depending on what kind of childhood you were raised in, especially in the Latin culture here, like especially California based, I love the little scenes of the singer, the mariachi. Well, not the mariachi singer, but the singer. It looks straight out of like they just cut a scene out of Pedro Infante, because he looks so much like Pedro Infante. It's like almost like a caricature of him, but it was just done so well. I'm surprised they didn't go with Mr. Thick Eyebrows. What's his face? The other. Damn it! I can't think of his name.
Thick Eyebrows. What's his face? That guy. You know who he is.
Really,
but yeah, it's a cute. It is
Vicente Fernandez.
Yeah, it is a very cute trailer. It was more of a teaser because they don't actually tell you about the storyline, but it's very much about a young Hispanic guitar player, and it's very rare to see the brown peoples in the mainstream media. I can't say it.
That's placed by Ramon James almost.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he's not voicing a character.
I know that not everybody can relate to that, obviously, but growing up, watching Disney cartoons, I related. I liked the movie Aladdin the most because he was the only brown guy. In the franchise, basically, who wasn't a princess. It's only in the last decade or so that they started adding more ethnicities into the Disney collection.
Or those episodes where Donald Duck goes to Mexico or something like that.
You see the ethnic birds
who talk
with the accent, and they're like, "Hey, amigo, ¿cómo estás?"
His name is Panchito.
Yeah,
Panchito Rooster. They're like, oh my god, it's so bad.
No, it's the same thing. It's very much it's a stereotyping of characters, and I get that. I'm especially seeing this. I'm watching the Dick Van Dyke Show on Netflix right now, and anytime they have a Hispanic character, they're always Mexican, and they're always have an accent, or they can't speak English at all. And that's kind of the joke in that show. But it also reflects the common stereotypes and thinking of the period, especially when
Asians.
It's somebody like, oh, they're from Florida, but they call them Mexican, and I'm like, yeah, things like that. And I'm like, but
where'd you hear this one?
It's very much an expression of the time period in the 60s.
Whites, no,
where they're speaking to the general American audience, and they don't know the difference, and that kind of ideology has just been in movies forever since. So to see any kind of brown character always makes me sad, even if it's not something I'm probably going to watch. It's always nice to see some young kid who comes up, who's little now, and can watch this movie and say, "Oh, that's me," and be interested in animation or film, and or have a story told that kind of relates to them in that way.
The only part I was a little upset with Disney is Disney does have a supposed to be Hispanic Latin princess, but she doesn't have a movie. She didn't put out a movie. They gave her a TV show. But it's close enough. This is what you'll get.
Yeah. Now for me, the movie the trailer that won is definitely going to be American Gods. That is an absolutely cool trailer. It is. If you ever read the book, you know how weird and crazy it can be sometimes, especially when they're talking about the old gods, Norse gods, Greek gods. And they have to visualize that in television show, you always kind of wonder how they're going to do that and how far they're going to go as far as like visualizing pictures and depicting the violence. That's very much a part of those older god cultures, and they do it all. I mean, there's one scene where there's a god with an old Slavic god who's a killer with a hammer, and in the modern world, he works as a cow killer. Like he used to work at a slaughterhouse, and he used to be the guy who once he migrated to the U.S. He worked in a slaughterhouse because that's what he liked to do. He liked to kill things with his hammer, so he got a job in that industry, and that's what he did to support himself when he wasn't being worshipped anymore, and he lost his powers basically.
Oh, I thought another way that you're describing it. I was thinking, remember those old tall tales I used to hear, like the Western ones, like Mark Henry that built the railroad well with him and his hammer. Pickle Spill that rode a tornado kind of thing. Paul Bunyan the giant with the giant
like the Disney cartoons.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. They were more like American folklore.
Sort of. In this case, though, it's the old gods going up against the new American gods. I mean, the title of the film, of the series, is basically talks about those old, no longer worshipped characters and figures going up against the new American gods of like television, the internet, money, and like sometimes like the railroad and slightly older American gods. But all those gods are actually exist in this universe. They just regular people just don't see them very often, or they look just like weird people in the world. But once you remove the veil from the main character's eyes, he interacts with them, you get some very interesting storyline opportunities, and that's part of what the novel talks about, and what's hopefully being translated into this television series. So there you go.
Oh yeah, that Harriet Tubman, because her I don't want to call her gimmick. Her thing is like almost like a shapeshifter. She was able to mask herself, change it the way she would look. That way she wouldn't get recognized when she did the whole Underground Railroad thing.
Yes, that sort of relates to the story in a way.
Yeah, I'm just kind of just
I mean that's as far as like the actual like visualized, stylized thing that they're going to go through. It might be something like that where it's a simple character change like that, but there's also a giant boar that's on fire, as an American god, not American god, but one of the old gods. Because there's a big battle scene at towards the end of the story between the old and the new gods. And so everybody's whipping out their old powers and their old outfits and their old weapons and stuff. And
let's see, Paul Bunyan brings out the big blue ox to take on the boar.
That might be some character you see, because part of the core storyline is that these gods are empowered by human worship and human belief in them. Like they're literally fueled, their magical powers, their life existence is fueled by humans and their imagination and their belief in those deities and those ideas. And so anything that in which people worship can manifest and become powerful. So Paul Bunyan can very well appear if that's something the story creators want to do. But it's basically icons like that. People from folklore, people from stories pop up, and it's kind of interesting to see. But that's the one I like. So that's my winner. You like Coco because that's of the three. That's the one you like. You saw. But that's it for the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're done. Finito. And remember, folks, if you want to help support the podcast, if you like listening and watching to us, you can always find out all the ways to do so at
geekbytespodcast.com/support.
There you go, folks. Thanks for watching and listening this week for Geek Bytes Podcast. I am Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo Acosta.
And remember, folks, to go geek out about something.